So how do you decide where to advertise the role?
Well, the first and most important thing is to actually analyse the position you're recruiting for. And then you need to work out whether it is a niche role and you're going to put it on very specific sites, or it's a generalist role and it can go on the more wide-ranging sites. Just to give you an example, say you're looking for a developer, an IT developer, you go to generic specific IT sites such as CW Jobs or JobServe.
Oh, I think I know what you mean there, because I was recruiting for a food company a couple of weeks ago and it was a national account role and we placed it in the grocer. So you mean that sort of thing?
Exactly right. And you also need to decide whether you need to use multiple sites, so generic and niche, to make sure you get the best number of responses through.
It's probably useful to point something out there though, as we've discussed in previous communications, that multiple sites are going to mean multiple applications. So as well as deciding where to advertise, you need to remember to put some time aside for the multiple job applications that you're going to get and make sure you can give them all enough time.
Absolutely right, and it's very important you do acknowledge every application you do get and respond to them, let them know where they are in the process.
So this research that you're talking about, how do you go about doing it?
Well, to be honest, Mark, the simplest way is just to go on Google. All you have to do is put the job title you're looking to recruit for and location potentially and press search, because this will bring up all your competitor companies and other recruiters' adverts and you can see where they've actually advertised them.
I'm guessing also it's important to remember that the job sites evolve as well. You know, what was good in one role might not be as good in another role. What was good one year might not be as good this year. Because I know we make sure we continually evolve our website offering on a regular basis for that reason.
And that's absolutely the right thing to do. What's a good website for you last year may be a terrible website for you this year.
So I'm just guessing then the best way to do it is just to Google it.
Absolutely. So Mark, do you think this recent advertising on television by the various job boards has any real effect?
Yeah, it does, but it's quite a strange phenomenon really. It definitely affects the site itself. So a couple of years ago, for example, Monster did quite a lot of TV advertising and there was a definite spike in candidate and client usage of that site, but it also had a knock-on effect on other websites, so increasing the profile generally of website advertising. So now we're finding Total Jobs and JobSite are also advertising on television, and that's improving their profile or increasing their profile, but it's also increasing the online job market generally as well.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I mean, one thing you do need to be aware of, that when these guys did do their advertising, the number of inappropriate applicants also went up as well.
Definitely, a note of caution for sure. So if we've dealt with the active side of job seeking with the traditional online advertising sites like Monster and JobSite, is there a passive market to target too?
Well, very much so. I mean, recent statistics stated that only 10% of the working population are actually looking for a job. So that's 90% of people that aren't. And that's what we class as the passive market. And recent studies have shown that the best way to actually attract or engage with this passive market is to use the social networks and effectively become an online headhunter.
I'm guessing though that it's probably quite a time-consuming process to do that, because you've got to build up your network of contacts, you've then got to decide how to communicate with that network of contacts, and then you've got to be able to wait for that network of contacts to be able to respond back to you to say they're expressing some interest in the job that you're trying to attract them for.
That's absolutely right. It can be seen as a very long-winded process. Using such items or tools such as LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, a number of people, a number of clients we work with have tried it themselves, but it has proved too time consuming, so they tend to hand it back to a recruiter as part of their marketing mix to actually find the relevant people. So Mark, I've heard a lot about these applicant tracking systems. How could that help us?
They are a more recent phenomenon, undoubtedly. There also can be quite expensive and quite time-consuming to set up, but could pay for themselves in the long run. Very simply how they work is every single person that applies to any job you advertise registers their details on your applicant tracking system. In essence, it's a database of potential candidates for you. So next time you recruit for a role, instead of the job sites or the social media sector being your first port of call, you would go into this newly created database, try and find the candidate on there that matches the criteria for the role, and if you find them, they're obviously free.
That does sound like it could save some time and money.